Why don't we start with first your reaction to Governor DeWine's most recent announcement when it comes to the arts and theater performing arts especially?
Um, I think all of the arts and everybody in Columbus has been anticipating and waiting for Governor DeWine's announcement. Um, while I understand the announcement, I can definitely say for BalletMet and the performing arts that we were disappointed, and that it definitely will affect us um, in terms of potentially coming back and having any sort of performances. Uh, we're going to have conversations with our organization, our board, theater owners, Kappa, just seeing what the next steps are and how we can move forward. But again, while I understand, and I think everyone can understand, we are in a, a pandemic. It's just disappointing because I was hoping that we would be able to do more.
Yeah, and I know you had kind of mentioned earlier where we are right now as a community when it comes to the arts, that it is a tough spot to be in right now because of, you said, funding and just how many seats you can fill and even just touching on stage. Can you talk to some of that a little bit?
Absolutely. I think that we're all trying to learn how we can navigate this new normal and, being able to, let's say, for instance, the Ohio Theater. With this measure, you can have an audience of 300. And is that possible for arts organizations to be able to have these productions and not be able to balance out ticket revenue and the expenses of each production, or um, even just managing and keeping the theaters going from front of house to bathrooms to backstage, stagehands for us, the dancers, and costume. So there's a lot to think about and navigate. Um, I think that what we have been doing since this past spring, we talked I guess, right close to in the beginning of our shutdown and pandemic. And BalletMet, we were very much concentrated on uh, being able to still provide online content for our academy, finishing out um, our fiscal year, and then quickly trying to prep for our summer intensive. Our summer intensive this year, uh, this is something that I'm very proud of our senior team that we were able to navigate. We had in-person, in-studio learning, which was very different than a lot of academies nationally. We had 10 groups, over 120 students, and it was a blended half in-person, half online. We had a ton of safety protocols, and we were able to have no incidences, and we were able to navigate 8 weeks of this program. So we just finished, and it is a sigh of relief. But now everything that we learned from these 8 weeks, we are getting ready to open our fall academy full year program on September 8th. So that's our next step. But
You
I
talked
think you just,
size of the rooms helps, right? And you talked about ballet mets, the practice rooms thankfully are large and that allows to work a little bit with like the social distancing and stuff.
yeah, we've been able to, with our whole team, been able to create a very safe protocol. And like I said before, is our studios, we're very lucky. Our dance center has such large square footage for studios. So we were able to facilitate a return for some of these students with taped out social distancing dots, traffic flow, taped out bar areas, how we clean, also how we updated our HVAC and our air take system so that it could filter um, better every hour so that we can keep all our staff and especially the students and our dancers safe. So there are great positives that our home is we've been able to manage, and we've been able to kind of mechanize how to return safely. So we're confident, but the only issue is that even with social distancing measures, our summer intensive is quite popular nationally, and we were only able to bring back, I would say, half the student population, um, because each studio we were able to get 25 to 30 students for every class before. Now it's half that size. So this is something that we're also facing in terms of the fall schedule. So um, you know, this is the new normal, and you have to just move forward and operate in this new climate.
As far as this new climate goes, though, of course, art, something we talked about prior to this also was that the beauty of ballet and dancing in general, it can be done anywhere, even though, of course, you know, the expense and everything, that's its own issue, but the physical act of dancing can be done anywhere. What place do you see for dance in this new kind of COVID-19 world that we have? How is it helping to heal people?
I'm such a strong believer in the performing arts and dance in general. This is what I've dedicated my whole life to this craft and to this art form. I believe that this is a great representation of who we are as humans. It is it's just a part of us, and what better way than the arts is to be able to heal and communicate in this time of need. If you think about it, when human beings hear music, or we can't help but move and tap our feet, or it is such an incredible, I would say, universal communicator and language. Uh, it is a vital part, not only in terms of the socioeconomic parts of having theater and arts in being a vital, thriving city, which we are. I'm just really hoping, and I've seen this already, that the community really stands up and helps and support and keeps us together and viable as we continue to navigate and hopefully weather this storm the best that we can.
Yeah. And of course, you know, along with the pandemic this year, we saw the protests and the unrest that followed the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis. And it just brought about all of these conversations of race and anti racism in the community. What role do you see the local arts groups when it comes to those conversations about race and, you know, making that positive change in the community?
I I think that we belong to the community, we serve the community, and we should reflect the community in all its aspects. And I think every arts organization, nationally and internationally, is really looking at this particular topic. And I think it's really important because arts is a great communicator. Ways to be able to communicate our thoughts and our emotions and our feelings without words. And this topic, obviously, I mean, I am personally impassioned about, but it just gives me great hope. And it really shows me how embedded we are into the community, and how, what better way can we serve the community, because we are a representation, not only visually, but in terms of our mission and vision. Every part of it is is embedded into the community, whether we're entertaining, moving, inspiring, educating, um, being having presence. I really believe that it's super important, and I'm very lucky and grateful that at least within the art community, locally and internationally, that we are a part of this conversation.